Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one state official is proposing changes to Kentucky's voting system.
Then we take a look at one eastern Kentucky county joining many others in the Commonwealth as a Second Amendment sanctuary.
Plus, news of a special guest at one local animal shelter has triggered an unexpected flood of support and donations.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 4:59. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Madison Program.
Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Thursday, or Madison as we like to call it around here.
Friday Eve.
Yes, and let's bring Brandon in this morning. Brandon, this morning starts out chilly, but we could be looking at some temperatures that are breaking records.
Yes, that's true, and fair warning, I'm already on the struggle bus this morning, so just to be ready for that, we're going to take a look at current conditions, and you wouldn't think we would try to get close to a record today. We'll probably break a record later this week, but outside the WIT studios this morning, it is fairly quiet, just like it was yesterday. Clear skies, which means frost, so keep that in mind. Temperatures anywhere from the upper 20s to the low 30s. They will start to climb, hopefully by 7 o'clock, because we're starting to see that warmer air drift in. You can kind of see that trend already back out toward Bowling Green, Nashville, Paducah in the 30s and 40s there, Owensboro. So we're going to continue to see that move our way. But if you're heading out this morning, again, frost scrape alert, maybe a couple extra minutes there as you head out the door this morning. I don't think you'll need a whole lot extra, but just keep that in mind. Your out the door forecast, we're going to add a few more clouds in today, but we're going to add some warmer temperatures, flirting with 60 degrees today. And then after that, those rain chances return starting tomorrow. I'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, Kentucky's new Secretary of State wants to require a photo ID to vote. Michael Adams says it's to provide more integrity in the voting system. The newly elected Secretary of State says he wants to stop voter fraud in Kentucky. Adams says because you already need a photo ID to get a bank account or enter the state capitol, you should need one to vote. But the legislation he is pushing would also set up a free way for people to get a photo ID if they don't have a driver's license. And in a series of tweets yesterday, University of Kentucky professor and election expert Josh Douglas says this is a solution in a search of a problem. He says, quote, there is no need for a photo ID law in Kentucky elections. Photo ID laws prevent only one kind of voter fraud, in-person impersonation. There is zero evidence of that kind of fraud in Kentucky.
Well, the Pike County Fiscal Courtroom was packed with community members Tuesday night as a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution was signed. The resolution, one of several that has been approved across the region, is a show of support from the county, telling its citizens the local government supports the Second Amendment. Judge Executive Ray Jones heads a court full of Democrats, but says the issue is not about party lines.
Most of us here grew up with guns. A lot of us have veterans in our families. And, the rights of law-abiding citizens should not be jeopardized or infringed because criminals commit crimes.
More than 1,000 Pike Countyans signed an online petition supporting the resolution. Jones says he has never seen as many people in the courtroom as he saw Tuesday night.
And another Kentucky lawmaker is entering the race to take Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's seat. Representative Charles Booker officially entered the U.S. Senate race Sunday. Booker joins retired Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath on the primary ballot. She officially filed to run for the Senate last week. Senator McConnell is seeking his 7th term.
New legislation would require all Kentucky school districts to install cameras to school bus stop arms. It's already illegal to pass a school bus with its stop sign extended. The law aims at holding drivers who pass by school buses accountable. School officials in Marshall County say they already have cameras on their buses. They say since making that addition, there's been a sharp decrease in the number of stop arm violations.
And a tough budget cut is a tough pill to swallow for one Kentucky law enforcement agency. The Madison County Fiscal Court cut the Sheriff's Department budget by $300,000. He says the cut will lead to deputies being let go, as well as not being able to replace patrol vehicles. This all comes as Madison County is facing serious financial problems and trying to address jail overcrowding.
Inmates could move into the Laurel County Jail in just a few days. The new jail will have the capacity to house 664 inmates. The concept, in the works for nearly 4 years, aims to help solve an overcrowding problem. Laurel County Jailer Jamie Mosley says the new facility is not only good for inmates.
I think we've got, one of the greatest groups of people in this business, and now they have a building that's equally as equipped for them to work in every day, much safer facility for them to work in.
The public has a chance to see the new facility for themselves tomorrow at 6 and 7:30 p.m.
And the growing amount of flu cases have caused a hospital in southern Kentucky to restrict visitors. The Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital has restricted visitation to immediate family members only. You are not allowed to visit if you have any flu-like symptoms like a fever or cough. No visitors under the age of 12 will be allowed. And if you have to visit a patient, you need to report any flu symptoms to hospital staff. The guidelines are effective immediately.
Well, a resort on Lake Cumberland is making progress after a fire destroyed part of it. Conley Bottom Resort was up in flames, as you see here, earlier in 2019. You may remember a fire damaged the store, cafe, and part of the dock last May. It happened right before Memorial Day weekend. The resort plans to have all repairs complete by this summer. They posted updated pictures to their Facebook page.
And Tyler Childers' recent trip to the Floyd County Animal Shelter is having some unexpected effects. A picture of the country singer holding a puppy outside of the shelter quickly gained popularity on social media. Adoptions and donations began pouring into the shelter, and the board of directors now plans to raise money to open a new shelter, all thanks to the recent attention.
It is a good place to live, don't get me wrong, but our people are suffering and our animals are suffering. So anything to let the rest of the world know that, hey, we need help in the mountains, I think is great. And for him to do that, I mean, it just shows how humble he must be.
The board plans to create a committee made up of people who do not work for the shelter that will be in charge of fundraising. Well, thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning.
More news is on the way. Later, we'll take you back to Madison County, where one event may ease the minds of Kentucky farmers worrying about hay shortages this winter.
After a chilly morning, we look to see a fairly nice and warm day. Changes are coming, though. I'll tell you about them in about 3 minutes.